Hi guys, it's Shelby with White River Homestead, and today I'm going to share with you 4 simple tips to help stop mold growth on your baby seedlings. Okay, so I know that having mold on seedlings seems really scary and it's a really pesky problem to have, but know that it's not actually harming your baby seedlings, okay? So one thing that you can do, the very first thing that you need to do if you spot mold on your seedlings is you need to scrape it off. Now I will tell you this, if your seeds haven't germinated, I think that you guys should wait until they've sprouted a little bit, because you don't want to accidentally scrape off the seed whenever you're trying to scrape off the mold. So the very first thing that you need to do is just take that mold and scrape it off. I just use my finger just a little bit to kind of scrape the top of it, and then trying not to disturb the rest, because you don't want to scoop too deep whenever you're working with the mold on top, because chances are your seedling is still very, very small, and you don't want to damage the root system or its stability that it has with the soil. So that's going to be the first thing that you want to do. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to look at your greenhouse and the climate that you have it set at, okay? Because mold grows whenever there's too much heat or there's too much water. So in the beginning, before your seeds germinate, you want your greenhouse very hot and you want your seeds really wet. And it's a perfect combination for seeds to grow, but it's also a perfect combination for mold to grow. So you have to be careful with that. We have an indoor greenhouse set up. It's still too cold outside for us up greenhouse. And this is perfect for beginners. We brought ours inside. We got it for $60 at Orchlands Farm and Garden. So if you have that store in your area, you might check that out if you're needing to purchase one. But whenever we had everything, all of our windows and our doors closed, it was great because it helped those seeds to germinate. Now it is it's too moist in there for them, okay? So mold is a sign that something's just not right with the area that you're growing seeds. So we went ahead and we opened up all of our windows in our greenhouse and our door during the day to get enough airflow. That's going to be the first thing that's going to extremely impact and prevent further mold growth on your plant seedlings, okay? So go ahead and make sure it's really airy. We did this for a few days and we were realizing that we were still struggling with mold growth, so we actually added a small fan. So we have a fan, it looks like this. It points this way. We have it pointing up, okay? So that is going to help bring airflow, but it's not going to be directly pointed at your baby seedlings, okay? This is going to make them stronger, and it's also going to prevent the top of your soil from becoming too wet. It's going to keep it dried out a little bit on top, which is perfect because it's going to help you prevent your mold growth. Also, if you're struggling with your plants becoming leggy, I plan to upload an episode about this coming up soon. But if you're struggling with your plants becoming too leggy, maybe your light source is too far away, having a fan in there is also going to help them out, okay? So you're actually getting the best of both worlds by incorporating a fan. So you want nice, fresh air circulation in your greenhouse. The next thing that you need to do is look at how much you're watering your seedlings. Now, whenever they were germinating, they required a bit more water to make sure that that little tiny seed that we planted in there is going to sprout up. But now that your seedling has sprouted out of the ground, we can tone back on the water. And so if you're top watering, like with a watering can, that's actually harming your plant. That's too much water for it, and it's probably not getting a chance to dry out, especially if you have all your greenhouse doors and windows closed, because that's just aiding in the humidity and further prevention of mold. So what I suggest doing is bottom watering your plants. So bottom watering is where you take your 10 by 20 tray, if you have one, or whatever tray, and you set your seedling inside of it in the grow pouches that you have, and then you water from the bottom, okay? So what I like to do is I like to take this 10 by 20 tray and set our seedlings inside of here, and I'll pour the water up towards about a fourth of an inch of the way up on my little seedling plant packet. And so I'll leave it there for 30 minutes, and during that 30 minutes, it's actually watering your plants from the bottom, so it's exactly like what it sounds like. It's soaking up all of that water and nutrients while leaving the top of the soil a little bit dry, so that this way you're not going to have the mold growth like you would if you're watering on top. Now, if you still are concerned with the top of your plants not being watered enough, I suggest getting a spritzer, or if you have one that's laying around, just make sure you wash it out really good. Yep. Just kind of like a Windex bottle type spray, so that you can spray the top of your plants with water and water them that way so they're not collecting too much water. Now the third thing that I would like to talk with you about, or the fourth thing that you can add to your plants if you still have that stubborn mold growth, is cinnamon. Now I know that sounds so crazy. Why would I need to add cinnamon to my plants? Cinnamon is a natural antifungal, and so it's going to help prevent your mold growth. So actually, if you're just starting out and you haven't developed any mold, go ahead and sprinkle a little on the soil, just a hair, and this will help you to prevent any mold growth at all, which is great. But if you are like me and you have a little bit of mold on some of your plants, know that you can still go back and add the cinnamon. I like to just reach in and take a little pinch of my cinnamon in my hand and blow it on, okay? You don't want too much on your plants, and you really want to focus just on the soil, okay? If you get it on top of your plants, you can actually burn them if your grow lights are too close, okay? So these are just some of the tips that I have for you to help prevent mold growth. You'll want to give it a few days in order to see change, okay? Because you're changing a lot of different things. You'll be changing your climate, you'll be changing how much you water them, you've added some cinnamon, and now you've got some air circulation in there. So that's going to change the whole dynamic of your greenhouse, and your baby seedlings are going to say thank you. Just know that not all is lost if you do develop a little bit of mold on your plants, that you still have time to fix it, and that mold doesn't mean anything bad. It's just a warning sign saying, hey, something's not right here with what you are growing, and your growing conditions need to be changed. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to growing seeds for beginners, okay? If you would like to hear more about growing seeds and some trial and error solutions that you need, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and I will be posting a new video soon about leggy plants and how to deal with that. Bye!